Check, check. Mic check. Yo, Sharky, what's up? Okay, I'm ready. It's all good. I'm I got I've been testing it and getting everything straight, so we should be good. It, anything? Are you plugging your effects up? Or are you just plugging it? Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Is there anything else you can think about that you might need? Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome to the second month of the Q&A for Sharkyverse. Thank y'all so much. I hope Sharkyverse has been going well for you guys. It's been extremely fun uh, building this content and really just having fun with sharing some information that you guys are looking for, and that it helps me as well to share the information, because the more you share, the more you actually learn about the stuff that So we're gonna dive into it. First of all, I want to just say hello. How's everybody doing? We got Hiroto from Tokyo. We got John Smith, my buddy from New York. Let's see here. We got Jerry. How you doing, Jerry? From Brooklyn. We got about 4 people, right? 3 or 4 people. This is cool. So I'm all about just this is all about questions and Q&A answers. Anything y'all thinking about. It could be from any of the content that was already done and recorded that you guys are checking out. If y'all need any clarification about anything or questions about that stuff, I'm all about it. So let's dive into it. What y'all got going for me? We got Jerry here, and I got your message. You said interested in your amp setting for clean R&B sound. Do you set your mid on 4, bass on 6, and then treble on 6 on Fender amps? Can you give us the blueprint or concept? Also settings on your Boss ME80 pedal board. Okay, so that's a great question. So it really depends on. Usually I'm using like a Fender Twin reverb, or I'm using, DeVille. If I'm going to use a Fender amp, it's usually those two. Or lately I've been getting into the Princetons with the reverb on it, which Teeny Hodges used on all the Al Green stuff. And a lot of people don't know, but he was actually using a very small Princeton amp. So it's a great sound. It's probably one of my favorite amps at this point. But if I'm using a Fender Twin, or just a clean amp in general, by default, I usually go, if and I'm using a Strat that's pretty bright, right? Most times Strats are pretty bright, unless you have a Strat that has 2 humbuckers or whatever. I am doing, on a Twin, I would usually go with the treble, probably about 4. Yeah, about 4 on the treble. Mids would be straight up in the middle. The bass would probably be boosted up a little bit, instead of it being, it would be like maybe about in between 4 and 5, depending on the guitar. There's no set rules necessarily. The DeVille is kind of around the same thing. And then there's a bright switch, right? That we can't forget about. If the guitar, I usually, if I cut the bright switch off and I'm still not getting the cut that I want, then I'll turn the treble up a little bit, and it gives a different type of cut than if the bright switch was up and the treble was down a little bit. So it just really depends. You got to do your experimenting and see. But that's kind of where I based it if I'm using single coil pickups. If it's a humbucker like a 335 or a Les Paul, typically the treble, I will probably keep the bright on, right? And the treble will probably hang around almost 6, if not in between 6 and 7, or 7. Depends on how dark the guitar is. The mids, sometimes I can scoop the mids all the way out, or I'll put it still center in the middle, because I don't like the really pointy sound. And then the bass will usually be like right at 3. Most times on the humbucker, I'm usually at 3 on the bass. And that's pretty much how I kind of look at it. Just really depending on the nature of the guitar and that beast, to try to really figure out what's right and what's for that clean sound. So like right now I'm using a Boss Katana, right, in this particular setting. And the Boss Katana right now with this Strat, let's see, This strat is a little warmer than normal. I got the treble at like 5, so what I was usually saying. The mids on this one is actually a little past middle, like 12 o'clock, and then the bass is right at like 7. I mean, 1 o'clock. So it sounds like this. And that's on the neck pickup. Now you also want to, a lot of people hang on the neck pickup, but I like to test it out with all the different pickups so I can still see if I get bite. So a little heavy on the reverb, but you get the idea. The middle pickup is kind of like that Jonathan DeBose things. So you kind of get that. So you get the right sounds, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. As far as the ME80, my settings usually change depending on the gig. I like to use a tube screamer, and the tube screamer, I kind of put the volume down, and the volume is usually, depends how loud I want it. So the volume is strictly that, but like the tone would be probably 11 o'clock, maybe around there, because I like it a little warmer. And then the gain is usually like 2 o'clock to get the crunch that I want, or maybe even 3, in between 2 and 3. I use a tap delay, digital delay on that. For my distortions, what do I use on my distortions? I use oh my God, I can't think. I'm having a brain fart this morning. But basically, I kind of like the tone knob a little back from the 12 o'clock, so it'd be like 10 or 11. Just a hair, because I don't like it to be too bright. I like it to cut, but still have the thing. And then of course I have the auto wah. Well, not auto wah, but I have the wah and then volume, and then I use a phaser to kind of give me that the Ernie Isley type of thing, or whatever, rotary phaser type thing for modulation. I set up a chorus, and yeah, that's pretty much what I use for the ME80. Today I'm using a GT1000. So as you can see, I'm a boss guy. So yep, I hope that answers your question. What gauge? Okay, Jared, it's another.
John Smith asked, what mic are you using on the Katana? Just a 57?
We're using a Beta 57, basically. Shure Beta 57, and I sometimes use that for vocals too. Live. You know what I mean. So it's just simple. Courtesy to Mr. Harry Hunt over here, who's running the operation. You know what I'm saying. Let's see here. What else we got here? Okay, C major scale device and giving me trouble. Is giving me trouble. Sustaining notes.
I think he's talking about the lesson where you did the open string C major.
Oh yes. So you're talking about the open string sustaining the major scale, correct, John? If that's what you're talking about, basically you're thinking about. I'm thinking about it in this position here, not necessarily like a lot of people go to this position. Right. I'm actually going here. And I'll slow that down in case. So I'm starting with my pinky or, my ring finger. I'm a 3-finger guy most of the times. So it's kind of like natural, George Benson actually does that a lot too. But I'll use my pinky for now. So here on the C on the E string. So I'm here in this position. So you're going to be thinking about it in that position. Now, the concept is every time you look at that C major scale, right? You got C, D, right? F, G, A, right? Then you got what? You got B, then you got C. Starts over and over and over again. So if we're doing, every time you run into a note in that scale that's an open string, you're going to hit the open string to replace it and sustain the note that you're going to be, that is not an open string. So C, we don't have an open string. If you're tuned 440 like myself, tune the standard in E, you have C, right? Now, the next note is D, right? So instead of fretting D, I'm going to go hold the C and then hit the open D. See that? Now, the next note is E, right? So if the next note is E, but we don't have that open, we don't have that particular octave open, so we have to fret it. So we got the C, D, see that? So we got the C, D, and E all at the same time. And you're thinking about this structure. Right up in there. Opposed to we here. So you're going this way towards the bottom of the neck. So you got C, open D, then E. Now in that scale, when you're fretting it, right? So you got an F next after the E. So we don't have an open F, so you got to fret that. So you got to say 1. So C, D, E, F, then. Now that's a G, right? But we have an open G in that octave, so you're gonna hit open G. So now we got the next note is A. Now we have an open. We don't have an open A, right? In that octave, so we have to fret that. Then the next one is, right, is B. We have an open B. So that's the concept. Is every time you hit a note, see that? Does that make sense? So you're going to make sure that you're hitting the open string. Whenever you get a note that it replaces that open string, that's what it's all about. That's the idea. I hope that helps. Does that help, John? Give me a thumbs up if that helps like that. Did he reply?
It's a 15-second delay.
Okay. Cool. I'm glad that helped. Okay. Let's see any other questions we have on here. We have what kind of what's that?
I said you might want to stick with there's some other questions in the live chat.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to get to these two. What they were talking about. What kind of strings you use on your Strats, guitars, and gauges? What lessons did you learn from my friend Jeff Lee Johnson? Okay. So this is a Jerry question. I typically use D'Addario strings, standard, regulars, 10 to 46. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I like low action, but I like it low enough to the point where it's easy to play, but it's not too low where I lose, you know what I'm saying, dynamic range or possibilities to be dynamic, and it's just buzzing out. I like it almost right before it starts to buzz. And just because I have a light touch. But what I learned from Jeff Lee Johnson is just basically, being able to. I learned griminess from Jeff Lee Johnson, to be honest with you. Jeff he would play like a groove. It could be staying on one key. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a song called Time. What key was that in? I think it might have been C. Something like that. Right? Uh-oh. Yeah. would do stuff like this. Let me see if I can get this looper going. So, let's see if I can get the. So it would be something like. 1 second. Okay, so it'd be like. Right? So the whole song, the bass is literally the whole song, the bass is literally doing that the whole time, and he's soloing over there. Now, mind you, we'll pause it. Now, mind you, the root note is C, right? So this cat is playing all of these different possibilities. No chord bed happening. It's just that C minor thing happening. But he's doing major stuff. He's doing some altered stuff. And he's playing with every note in music, all the rest of the 11 notes, and learning playing the relationships between it to give you different types of functions or different types of energies. So I'll cut that back on, and this might even be something I can expand on, I think, for this upcoming month. You know what I'm saying? I think that might be something cool. If you think so, give me a thumbs up. But I'm gonna cut it back on. I'm gonna show you some stuff he would do, or something I would do that I learned the concepts with Jeff. So that's a kind of a major thing. Right, so that's all in the coming in and out. So if I go a half step up, so I just went a half step up, right? Pentatonic. Here we go in C sharp. And I went right back down, right? Altered. Augmented. Now I went to the 4 of C, which is F. And he would do all that stuff. Right? This character. That's what I learned from Jeff. And I just went like this. See that? That was his B major over the C. B major to C major. Right? Then you can play a C sharp, major 9 type of vibe. See that? You can mess with 4s, right? Half step up and half step down. See, half step. Blues, bends. See, it's just character. He's talking. You pinch the notes. Man, there's so much stuff you could do. But does that make sense? So it's like he's messing around with all of these different possibilities. Like you just thinking about C, but you got so much stuff you could do with C. You could go, there's so many passing notes, like half step up. All right, major C sharp, major 7. So if I go, then I went to the dominant. Right? So just little stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I would learn from Jeff Lee. The ideas and the not being afraid to step out. Yeah, the pinching. Yeah, absolutely. So with pinching, you're just taking what I do, how I like. Some people pinch with the meat of their thumb over the pick, and they'll do something like this. I'm not good at it, but I was never good like that. So what I would do, they would basically go down like that and somehow pinch it like that. But what I do is kind of like the bass players. I like to take my pointer finger and rake up like this. Like say for instance, I'm picking out a note. See that? But I take it and lay my thumb right over it. You can get all these different harmonics out of it. Watch. You almost get beep boop boop boop, almost like an organ drawbar. You know, get those overtones. You know what I'm saying? You have a little Kleenex or something like that. These allergies are killing me, y'all. Excuse me. But yeah, you get all these different things. So it's a good effect to have, like, if you're playing, right? If I say, see that? You can do the whole, instead of go, you know. See that? The more you move your thumb in front of it, it's the same concept as you doing this. Right? But the difference is you're basically striking down here but hitting a harmonic up here. See that? Maybe you could do it here too. So you get that whole thing. Right? Now it's another little trick you do. You can do this little thing. You put it on the distortion. You put some delays on it. Oh man, you get this kind of thing. You could take this, right? See, I'm pulling off, right? So I'm holding the note. I'm just holding A down, and I'm hammering and pulling off of a minor third up, which is C. Now I could take that note and do the same concept with my thumb, but this time do it with my side of my finger, my pointer finger, go like this. See that? See? Or see that? So it's all types of little crazy stuff you could do with the pinch harmonic or the false harmonic stuff. That's just some ideas. But that's an extension of the Jeff Lee question. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see here. I'd like to know, what do you think when you approach the guitar solo? Well, I'm thinking about phrasing. I'm thinking about colors. And what I mean by colors is just every note has an effect on the root. Has an effect on the root. As George Benson would say in his lessons, every single note has an effect on the root. And depending on your structure of your song that you're playing, right? You have to take it, in account for the structure, but then also you're thinking about just the relationship between notes. Like thinking about, okay, we were in C, right? Now, what does the next note have? What kind of effect does it have on the C? What does C sharp have? It's a whole feeling. Now, what if I go a minor, a whole step up? It doesn't seem like I'm doing much, but there's a lot of information in that. Now, if I go a minor third, see what I'm saying? If I go up another note, if I go a half step up, see, everything got an effect on the root. The relationship. If I say, I just add an octave. See what I'm saying? 5. See that? Everything. So now you take all of that and you play. Let's say, for instance, I'm just drone to C again. Right? See that? I'm going to hit every note. Flat 5. See? You think about phrasing. And it frees you from having to think about modes. You're thinking about colors. That's the flatted, flatitude or the naya. So I'm thinking about phrasing. I'm thinking about chord structure. I'm thinking about everything. And that's just based off of just one note. And you get all these different colors opposed to uh, thinking about these modes that you get locked into. You start just thinking about notes and how they, you know, have an effect on the root. Does that make sense? So that's kind of how I think about soloing. I'm always thinking about the color and the effect that it has on the root, and or the tonic of the song or the vibe. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so let's see. We got Strato. Yeah, okay, great, Haruto. Let's see. Hello, sir. Can you talk about how connecting the dots on a major 7 or minor 7 chord? Are you in this chat today? I don't think they're in this chat today. We'll send him that person a message. What we got?
Now, earlier, John asked, when you were at the Blue Note, what were your settings?
For my pedal board, basically, let's see here. Let's go through it. Okay, so in the GT1000, John, I was using. I pretty much with my pedal board, I have it set up. Let me see if I can actually lift my pedal board up so you can kind of see it. And that's, I'm not it's no crazy like rocket science or anything, right? So here we go. Hopefully you can kind of see it a little bit. But what I like to do is go in manual mode whenever I have these pedals. Oh, and the amp settings were the amp settings on that was it was like, if I can remember, the bass was probably at 5 or 6. The mids were brought back a little bit because it was more mid-rangey guitar because it was D'Angelico. So it was like probably at maybe 5, the mid-range, and then the bright was off, and the bright switch was off, and the treble was probably at in between 6 and 7. With these pedal boards, though, I like to go manual mode. And so I usually, from this button here, number 1, I use a overdrive. I set an overdrive pedal up, and let me see here. Right now, I have it set to a tube screamer again. And my tone is -2. Drive is at 67. And my level is at 46. And I kind of like to have them all balanced out. My overdrive, or distortion, I would say, is the analog distortion, A distortion, and it's at 72. The tone is all the way back down because it's bright in this particular unit. The distortions for me are just a little too bright, so I like to make sure that it's warm but still cuts. So it's at -50, and then the level is at 40 because it's a little more hot. It's hotter than the tube screamer. So then I have a phaser. And the phaser that I use normally is, see here. Have it right here. Here we go. So the phaser is the just Effects One straight phaser, script type. Rate is at 42, and the depth is at 38, just to kind of give it a nice balance, so it's not like too like, and then the effect is at 88. Then I like to use the chorus. Right now, the chorus, I'm still working on to get it the way I want to, but I'm using the regular stereo chorus, 40 rate, 60 depth, 100% of the effect. And then I have a tap temp delay that's on, and it's pretty much like kind of just a straight up digital delay. And I have two different delays going most of the time. When I want tech. The reason why I do two delays, because I'll have one tap. Excuse me, allergies. Give me 1 second. Can we mute that so they won't hear me blowing? Little intermission, little allergy. But the reason why I use two different delays when I'm not using like Strymon, pedals and stuff like that, is because sometimes you need textural, atmospheric type sounds, and you might be limited to a certain amount of stomp box destinations on your pedal. So I'll set up two different delays. One is a tap, the other one is a straight up digital delay or whatever, and I'll have a reverb ready. Now this is a regular tap delay, right? You can tempo, right? But what happens when I decide to use two delays at the same time? I can get this type of stuff if I'm swelling on the guitar. Especially for like praise and worship stuff or like really crazy textural stuff. I'll, sometimes have both delays going, and then I'll put like a little overdrive on it, the tube screamer, and do this. Just to give it a little thing. It's not necessarily a blue sky, but you can get more in depth with the delays depending on the gig. But I usually kind of have two different ones. When I'm having a standard gig that just requires delay, some type of modulation, distortion, overdrive, wah, etc. Let's see here. Any tips for working on chordal soloing? Yes. With chord soloing, it's very important to know the structure of the song. And it's also important to know different ways to play one chord. And one example that I give is always basic. It starts out with just one chord. You have to know where each chord is that you can play in different places. So that's how you start developing in it. And one exercise that I use, and I always say it, and a lot of people kind of get upset about it because of like, let's get into that first, and then we can get into the whole concept of chording through giant steps, right? I mean, giant steps, you have your chords, right? 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 Repeats. Well, the first two chords of giant steps that I'm playing is B major 7, D7, then G. So just off those chords. Now, if I know how to play that B major 7 in different places, right? Or the 9, right? know, and I can play the D. And understanding that that is a 5-1 to the G. So in a standard 2-5-1, sometimes people go, right? They use that with this dominant 7, right? Sharp 5, then go like that, or the altered, right? So I've got major 7. So knowing the B major 7 can be here. I don't have to go. I could go, because this is G major 7 right here. So I can go. So just off of that, I also can play the 3rd on top of it. Right? So if I go B, so because the D is the 5 of G, I can do all types of 5-1 ideas over it. So I don't have to stick to, I can go, see? I can go, or I can go, in church they go. You get all these different ideas. What else would you do on a 2-5-1? Let's start on B. So is it, then you can, right? We start thinking about melodies. So if I say, see that? That's another 5-1 again. See? Say, instead of going, you can go, see? Or you can go, see that? What's another 2-5 idea that you have? You know, all of these different things, you're recognizing once you know the chords of the song in different places and being able to understand alternatives or substitutions, right? That you would normally do. You know, everybody does this all the time. Why can't you do it in giant steps? See, instead of going, you can go, then. Now sometimes, what if, you know, you can experiment with some stuff. Use your imagination. If sometimes I'll even do all of the same chord. I'll do something like this. You know? See, you could do that instead of there. You can go, you can. about melody too. There's so many ideas that you can have and come up with. Just think about the structure of the song. Look at the structures. If you got 2-5-1s in there, think about all the possibilities you can do with 2-5-1s, and that's how you come up with it. And think of melodies. You know, I'm thinking about. Back to G. See, thinking about melodies. I don't have to go. I can go. See, because I'm here, not here. It's knowing the neck, knowing the chords in different places, and then knowing what the top notes in those particular positions. So I know here, I can go. I can go. I can do here, right? Now if I play it here, if I play here, see, knowing the top notes of all the different positions will help you, then guide you into these other melodies. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm kind of flying through it, but I want to get to everybody. But that's kind of the idea of how I think of chord melody stuff. Like one of my other favorite songs is "All the Things You Are." When you're playing the melody with the chords, you're already beginning to chord solo. But what if I want to change up the melody once I start solo, but use the same chords? I say. Right? So you can do. See, I did this. Right. Oh man. Right. I mean, so much fun. So That's kind of how I think about that stuff. All right. We got a few more minutes here. Is any more questions that we guys have? That you guys have? Let's keep it going. I'm having fun today. I'm having fun. I'm having a whole lot of fun. Oh, you know what? Jerry did actually have a question about a few hours ago. He said, Isaiah, can you demonstrate in real time your process in learning guitar parts of a song? Just 8 bars. Lessons by Eric Roberson. Music written by your friend Jarris Mosey. Or a classic, The Emotions. Don't ask my neighbor with 2 guitar parts. Thank you. Okay. I think that's more of like a lesson type of thing, in which I will definitely answer that for you. This upcoming month is going to be involving some of that information on how I approach learning some songs. So stay tuned. And then, yeah. So, any other questions, you guys? I want to get to everybody, make sure that we get everything we need. I'm having fun with y'all. I promise you, I'm having so much fun. Y'all got me started this morning. I really want to play. I just want to play. It's getting me super excited to play. Even though I got all these crazy allergies going on. If there's not any other questions, I can just play y'all out. You know what I'm saying? Play guitar for a few minutes, and get some things happening. Okay. And I don't know what I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna improvise. Okay, I think we got something here. Do you spend time learning other people's solos anymore? Let's see. I learn pieces of people's solo. Um, I still things that interest me. Like if I'm hearing somebody do something over a common chord progression or something, I'm like, oh, what made that person do that? You know, and then I start to take that little section over whatever that chord change is, that I'm familiar with, and I start tackling it, and I start dissecting what notes are in it, and I end up, you know, coming up with finding the concept of it more so than just learning or transcribing the lick, you know, and getting that concept so that I can utilize the lick and expand on it and, you know, have my own voice. You know what I'm saying? So that is a lot of fun when I'm learning other people's parts of other people's solos. This is stuff that interests me. Not that the whole solos don't interest me, but I'm looking for, you know, more vocabulary and more ideas to expand my harmonic library and melodic ideas. So super important to me. But yeah, I do spend some time. Any other questions? Anybody going to the Guitar Summit or the International Musician Summit this year? Anybody going? Do we have another question?
That was actually somebody said they're gonna see you there.
Ah, yes, Hiroto, I think. Yeah. Go down. Go down some more. This
Down.
one. Yeah. Oh yes, at the Musician Summit. Yes, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'll see you there for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody that's coming through and sitting down. You know what we do every year? We're gonna be in the lobby, playing guitars and sharing ideas. I'm gonna be stealing all y'all stuff and showing it right back to you on here. And Just having a lot of fun, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that this week, and it's been a long time since we got together because of the pandemic and stuff, and so uh, I'm looking forward to that, man. I don't know what guitar. I'm still struggling on what guitar I'm gonna bring, so I want to bring an L5, but I got a set with John Petitucci and Nate Smith where we're doing a trio this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I've never played with John Petrucci, and it's scary as heck to do so. And so, but it'll be fun. You know, growing up watching him play with Chick Corea, you know, the Electric Band, and all of the other stuff that he's done with Wayne Shorter, and you know, all of these different people. I'm really excited about it. So, um, yeah. But hey, if you're coming, I'll see you there. Um, Next month's lesson is going to be really cool. I hope that you guys stick with it. Keep sharing Sharkyverse with friends so that we can grow and expand, and more people can get information. You know, let them know, hey, everybody has access to all the lessons when they sign up. They can see all the lessons that's already there. So it's not like they're signing up and then you just got 4 lessons. You know, all you guys have every lesson that we ever did, you know, in Omniverse. So uh, that's the cool thing. You can always go back and rewind. You can always go back, come ask questions on the Q&As if something is unclear or you need help with anything. That's what me and Harry are here for. Really appreciate it. And please give a hand a clap for Harry Hunt. Harry Hunt is absolutely incredible. He is managing all of the content and getting all this stuff together and prepared for you. So it's a great team. So I appreciate you guys so much. Much love to you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed. And if you're coming to Musician Summit, I'll see you there. If not, I will see you next month with the Q&A as well as all of the lessons. So we'll try to touch all the stuff that you guys want to get into. All right? Peace and blessings and love.